You want to learn how to sew an easy, beginner-friendly tote bag? Today we are sewing a lined tote bag. It's a beginner-friendly, easy tote bag. We're going to make a tote bag like this with simple webbing for the handles, beautiful lining with a pocket. If you'd like to sew with me, then follow along in this tutorial. Again, it is beginner friendly, easy to sew, and I'll see you at the end. Now that we've got all of our materials together, I've ironed on my interfacing. We're going to pin the pocket pieces right sides together along the long sides and sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now that we've sewn down the sides, we'll turn the pocket right side out and iron. And I'm top stitching along the top of my pocket piece. I forgot to mention that in the bottom corners of your outer fabric and your lining fabric, you're going to cut a 1.5 inch square. I'm now laying my pocket on one of my lining pieces, and I'm measuring up from the cutout about 2.5 inches, and I'm going to pin my pocket in place, baste it on the sides, and stitch along the bottom. Now I measure my pocket. I'm going to draw a dividing vertical line to create 2 pockets. This is a personal choice. You can have 2 pockets, 3, or even have 1 large pocket. And so I am going to draw my line and stitch it now. Now we're going to take our 2 lining pieces and right sides together, pin along the long sides, and pin along the bottom. On the bottom, we are going to leave an opening of at least 4 inches, maybe 5 inches, for turning our bag right side out later. So I'll see you in the next step. And while I'm at this step, I'm going to also put my outer fabric right sides together. I'm going to pin along the long sides and the bottom, and we'll stitch all the way around. I decided to go ahead and pin all of my fabric before I stitch them. So I'll see you in a future step. Now we're at what I consider the trickiest step. We're boxing our corner. You'll see that I've clipped along the side seam and the bottom seam, matching those up. It does make it easier to go ahead and have that square cut out. And we're going to stitch it at a 3/8 inch seam allowance. And I just finger pressed my seams to match them up, and we're going to do that to all 4 of our box corners. I've left my opening for turning. I've turned my outer fabric right side out, and now we're ready to move on to basting our webbing in place. I'm going to measure from the outside seam in about 2 inches on each side and clip my webbing in place, baste that seam, and then we'll be ready to attach the lining and the outer fabric together. Here I'm sliding the outer fabric inside of the lining fabric, right sides together. I've boxed out my corners well, and I'm going to line up the side seams and clip and pin along the top, being careful that the handles stay tucked down inside and remain straight. And then we're going to stitch along that top seam at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I'll see you in the next step. Now I'm pulling the outer fabric through the opening in the lining fabric. I'm going to take this to my ironing board, and I'm going to press along the top edge of the bags before I top stitch the lining and the outer fabric together. And then our next step will be to close the opening in the bottom of the lining. And if you want to add a tag, you can. And also you can add a tag to the pocket in the beginning. I forgot to mention that, or in a side seam, but I added my tag in my bottom seam. So we're nearly done. Our bag is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this beginner-friendly sewing tutorial. And if you like this video, please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.